So when I first decided to get in shape, I was starting from scratch. I didn't know much about training, I didn't know much about nutrition. My background is in computer science, software engineering, IT. I knew much more about computers than I knew about the human body. So a lot of this was completely new to me. And what I want to do in this video is I want to bring you back to my first ever diet. And I want to share with you what I found to be the hardest thing about getting in shape, about transforming your body. And I don't mean just some kind of quick thing, but I mean really creating a sustainable lifestyle change. And this is what I've observed now after 10 years of doing this and also working with hundreds of clients. This is actually the most difficult part, and this I know will help you on your journey to create those sustainable results. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. So now you might be thinking, Mario is going to dive into calories, macros, how to figure out these high volume, low calorie meals to stay full, progressive overload, and all that stuff. And actually, all that can be quite difficult, especially if you're listening to the wrong information, but that's not the hardest part about this journey. Actually, the hardest part about permanently changing your life is the mental game of it all. It's actually becoming a different person in a way. And let me explain what I mean by this. So I started my journey at about 200, 205. Again, software engineer. I didn't really have an active lifestyle. That's not who I was. And when I initially planned out things and I had my workout, I had some diet, and things worked. Actually, for the first 3 months, I saw newbie gains, I lost some weight, and despite all that success, I felt like there was a lot of friction. There was actually a lot of pullback to go to that 200, to relax, to not really put any effort into this. And what I realized is that even though I wasn't happy with my body, at that 200, I really felt terrible. I didn't have the energy that I wanted to have. I didn't want to go to the beach. I didn't want to have any pictures taken of me. I was very uncomfortable and I wasn't really proud of that. But still, even though I wasn't proud of it, my mind was familiar with it. And that familiarity created a comfort zone, because taking a chance to change yourself, taking that risk is uncomfortable. Trying to change those habits that I had before, they were uncomfortable because I wasn't paying attention to my diet. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing any of that. So all those new things that I had to do and those old bad habits that I had to stop doing took energy. And the mind doesn't want to do that. So every step of the way, as I was losing weight, even though I was not only feeling like I saw the success, and I was okay with that. I mean, I'm making progress. It's awesome. Also, people were telling me good things and they were seeing changes as well. But there was something wrong. There was something off. There was this mismatch between who am I trying to become through my actions versus who I actually was. Because internally, there was a lag. There was a lag of that personality, because that personality didn't catch up until later when I actually hit my goal and stayed there for a while. So there's this delay of your image, of who you see yourself as. And I found this not only to happen the first time, but after a while, I hit that 15 to 18% body fat level. And then it was kind of like a similar thing. When I wanted to go down to 10 to 12% body fat and really get that six pack, really get that super lean physique, I found that same pull back to that 15 to 17% when I tried to make those changes. And that pull just came with a different story. At that point in time, the story was, oh, you're good enough, 15, 16 is fine, you don't need to do anything, you can relax. In the beginning, actually, the story was more of a, well, that's not who you are, you can just relax, like, why are you doing all this stuff? None of your friends are doing it, nobody's really doing it, that's not who you're supposed to be. And the story just changes. But the similarities of the story was always to kind of stay the same, because the mind doesn't want to change. And by the way, if you can resonate with this, if you felt the same on your journey, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button below as well. It does show your support, also helps with the YouTube algorithm. As we're talking about these very important topics, I would love if this video goes out to help out more people. So please go ahead and hit that like button. And really moving forward is to understand is that any change in your life that's a substantial, permanent change comes with an internal change as well. It's not enough to just put out a workout program, but really understanding that there's going to be a pullback. There's going to be a part of you that you're kind of negotiating with to change itself. And what I found, kind of to wrap my mind around this, is that my personality, I didn't have to change everything about myself, but I had to add more layers to myself. So training and taking care of my nutrition and being on top of this is another layer to my personality. And that's a person that I became. I've evolved over time. And that's how I see it these days. And this is the kind of conversations I had a lot with my clients as well, who feel that same resistance. Maybe right now you're in your 40s and your 50s and you haven't been taking care of yourself for a while. And you might feel like the age is a barrier. You might feel like things like that nobody else is doing it around you is a barrier. And all that self-talk, that story you tell yourself, that's actually going to hold you back when it comes to consistency, when it comes to really committing to the plan. And actually, when you're coming to certain mistakes or failures in your journey, which there are plenty of. Nobody's perfect. I made plenty of mistakes on my journey. Well, that opportunity there arises then for that doubtful mind to come in and tell you, oh, this isn't even for you. Like, why are you even doing this? So you had this failure, you had this bad weekend now. Well, just give up. This is not who you are. And that's exactly what you're fighting. You're fighting that tendency to give up. And that tendency to give up will happen not only throughout the journey, but it's also going to happen when you hit that goal. And then the mind tells you, well, you got there. Now you're complete. You can relax. You can chill out. You can just go back and just enjoy yourself. And guess what happens? Couple of months later and maybe a year later, you're back where you started because that internal change never happened and it just gradually went back up to where you were. So it was not a permanent lifestyle change. So beware of the internal game, beware of the mental game. This should be your focus if you're really looking for sustainable results. I've seen this on my journey. I've seen it with my clients. You will also experience this as well. So I do hope this was helpful for you. Also, hit that subscribe below as well to get more content like this to help you in your fitness journey, to stay committed, stay motivated, stay sharp. Also, make sure to hit the like button as well if you haven't done so already. Details for coaching if you want to work with me are in the description below, so check those out, and I will see you in the next video.